LinkedIn is like Marmite. You either love it or you hate it. Unfortunately, it's a necessary evil if you want to find a job, hire people, attract new customers, build your profile, win new business. It's the place to be. LinkedIn has over 1 billion members, but less than 1% of those people post something every week. But that tiny fraction account for 9 billion impressions every week. In other words, the people who show up get seen. One of those people is my guest today, Jack Ralph. He is a designer and a video creator. In less than 7 months, he's gone from about 100 followers to several thousand. And some of his posts attract 150,000 impressions in a week. He will tell you that the bar to entry is pretty low, and it's much easier to get going than you think. Now, rather than me trying to introduce Jack, I thought I'd let him do it himself. Over to you, Jack.
Oh. So the bar for standing out on LinkedIn right now, it's not actually that high. But basically, everyone's just playing a bit too safe. A bit weird never hurt, especially if you want to stand out. Isn't that right, Jack? Yeah, that's right. But shouldn't you be on a podcast right now? Whoa. Let's talk about why you should post the damn thing.
So, Jack, LinkedIn is like Marmite. You either hate it or you love it. But unfortunately, it's a necessary evil. We all know that if you're out there trying to get a job or promote your brand or trying to get customers, you need to be on there. Why do you think people are so anxious and nervous about making any kind of a post at all?
I'll be honest, I fucking hated LinkedIn to start with.
Okay.
Like, as soon as I got here, I was like, what is going on? Like, it's just so boring, so dull. I'd start following a load of people and just keep scrolling, and like nothing would ever catch my attention. I'd just dull and boring. You sort of follow people that you think are going to be potential clients and people in your sort of industry. And it's not until you start to break out of that where you start, like, I think you should follow a vast variety of people to really like spice up your like your timeline sort of thing, your scroll. You need to be getting inspiration from all over the place, and if you're just following the same people and the same clients and whatever, it's just going to be extremely dull and boring. And I think there's this thing of like LinkedIn's meant to be really professional and all this, and they don't want it to be like Facebook and stuff. They fucking do, because all the stuff that goes viral and the stuff that gets the likes and the comments and stuff is just memes and things that's easily shareable. So as much as people moan, oh, it's a professional place, like we need to be more professional, they don't want it there, because that stuff wouldn't go viral if that was the case. And I think because it's tied to your job and who you are, people feel like they can't necessarily be themselves, especially if they're in an industry, say like finance or something like that where they're like need to put on a front. That's fine, but it doesn't mean you can't have a bit of personality about yourself. And not everyone wants to see the same continuous posts over and over again about how amazing your
that's what I was going to say, because I think when you do look on LinkedIn, there's this real let me portray perfection, let me portray success, let me portray all these challenges, but look at the way I've overcome them. And it doesn't feel very authentic. And you said that they're just there, like you hated it when you started, and you looked, it's all beige and everyone's trying to be perfect. So I guess a fundamental question is like, why bother? Why should you then engage in it?
Because I think there's more people out there that like there's been this real change recently, I think, in LinkedIn. Um, do you know about the weird LinkedIn movement?
No, tell me more.
You not heard about that? So
No.
it's just been this whole sort of movement of just like be authentic, be yourself, just post whatever, like be weird, like allow yourself to be yourself online, and it's just like a hashtag weird LinkedIn, and it's just a whole group of people that are starting to just step out and go against the grain, and I think there is so much business and opportunity and stuff out there that it's a really good place. And it's becoming my favorite social media, which is really weird because I
Okay.
hated it and it was really
Yeah.
boring. But it's the connections and stuff that I'm starting to get. I'm really enjoying, and just like jumping in someone's post, having a little comment, and then sometimes jumping on like a coffee chat with them, getting to know them more. Um, it's just all this sort of connection. I think it can be quite lonely nowadays working from home. So I
Hmm.
think because not everyone's in office, there is this want for connection. So I think LinkedIn is sort of becoming that place. Like Facebook's a bit sort of like your nan's on it or whatever, and
Yeah.
spreading false
Your
information and
mate, your
stuff.
mates in Australia and stuff that you never
Yeah.
see. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas LinkedIn has that sort of professional feel to it, but I think there's a lot more people that are open to being themselves and
Mm.
are open to connect and uh, share work around, and like someone like in your corner, like
Yeah.
me starting the business that I only started in January, just being able to have these random people that I've spoken to a little bit online that some I would now consider friends are now in my corner, like backing me to like keep going. So, and I think that's another great reason for being in LinkedIn, finding your little fan club essentially that want to see you succeed.
Yeah.
Whereas,
Because that's what caught my eye about you. You know, I doom scroll. I was going through LinkedIn, and I can't remember what it was that I saw. It must have been someone I know who commented or whatever, and I watched your stuff and I went, "Fuck, this is different. This is like really fresh," and it was like a real breath of fresh air. So you mentioned that you started a business in January, and I know this isn't the podcast really where we talk about like all the
Mhm.
business side of stuff, but I'm really interested in what it is you were setting out to achieve on LinkedIn.
I think I probably had in my head that LinkedIn's the place to go for work. Um, Maybe I could get bits off of Facebook, but it seemed a little bit less professional. And I was in education for like 11 years and never really used it. So I was at a big disadvantage because I felt like I was starting from scratch, essentially. I think I started it in 2020, like after COVID and stuff. I thought I
Yeah.
probably should start building up my network a little bit. And I just thought, like, there's like so much opportunity out there, and I need to put myself out there, and I can only put myself out there the way that I know. I tried the really like uh reposting other people's things and trying to help people with different things in your niche and all that sort of stuff, and playing the LinkedIn game. And I
Yeah.
was getting nowhere, like absolute crickets. You get no engagement, whatever. You feel like you're just shouting out into the void, and it's really sort of disheartening. And you're just like, oh, what's the point?
Mm.
And it wasn't until I started, I just thought, sod it. I'm just gonna like post my first video and just put myself out there. I can't think to I can't say I'm going to help people with their video if I can't put myself out there
Yeah.
myself. And
Yeah.
it was extremely like nerve wracking. Like I'm not used to being on camera. Like even this is like extremely nerve wracking for me to like putting myself out there. I prefer being behind the camera and editing and stuff. Um, but I thought I've just got to do it, and yeah, just threw myself out there.
I want to
And
dive into that a bit actually, because I
mhm,
know, like I didn't know you at all. We connected, had a chat, we got online a couple of times, and then we spoke. And it's obvious, right, that you said many times you're not comfortable being like this side of the camera, and I'm not either. Really. I think it's a pretty unusual thing,
mm,
but you did do it.
mhm.
But I guess a lot of people might be thinking it's all right for Jack to say that, because Jack can, Jack understands what he's doing with video. He's creative. He can come up with this content. He's different to me. I'm just I'm an accountant, for example. I can't be Jack. What would you say to those people?
I think like creativity is like a muscle that you need to be constantly working on. Like, no, you're probably not that creative at the moment, but it's probably because you're not consuming creative content and looking at different ideas that's out there. And you need to start consuming more. Like, I don't watch TV anymore. I just basically watch YouTube. So I'm constantly
Right.
watching this like extremely high edited like videos, like incredible storytelling, camera angles, all this sort of stuff. And you just basically have to nick little bits, like, oh, I really like that camera shot that he's done there. Like, that's really creative. Or
Mm,
how he's started this video with like a jump cut or something. You don't have to go out of your way to be super over the top. Like, I can get away with a lot more being in a creative industry as opposed to, say, an accountant.
mm,
But it doesn't mean your videos and your content have to be boring. Just something as simple as a jump cut. You literally would film an empty plate, like you just would film the scene essentially. Then you walk into it and you would just sort of sit down, and as you sit down, make sort of a gesture, and then in the edit you just cut between the empty chair and that, and it gives this like pop effect where you just sort of pop into screen. Um, and it's nothing crazy, but it gives that bit of motion at the beginning of the video, sort of grabs a bit of attention, and it's just that little bit of creativity in the content. So I'm not saying go out and create these crazy skits and um, crazy props and all this sort of stuff. Like, keep it to your niche. But again, if you want to step out and be different, that's the only way you're going to do it. Like, if everyone's doing the same sort of content, you're an accountant and everyone's doing the same, here's the
mm.
uh, new tax rules and all this sort of stuff, they're all doing the same thing, you're not going to stand out. So find something that will help you stand out in that way. Like, is there
Yeah.
a funnier way that you could tell that story?
So I can understand why you would want to stand out, right? Because you're in the creative business and you're appealing to people who want you to produce content for them, which makes them stand out. I completely get that. But if we run with the accountant example, maybe I want to stand out because I am the best tax expert rather than the best creative person. Like I'm not trying to be an actor or a film director. I'm
Hmm.
just actually trying to be a tax person. So how does someone bridge that gap? How do they go from, sitting in their safe space to not quite Jack Ralph? I'm not sure many people could be Jack Ralph, but, like halfway between where they are and you. Where do they start?
For me, it would just be start consuming content, following different creators, like, try not to, obviously there's the whole doom scrolling, you just get lost in TikTok and YouTube, whatever. But if you can be like real precise with what you're watching and like really curated and really break down like how they're telling their story, what sort of cuts they're doing, um, what sort of style of posts are working really well on LinkedIn, and try and put your spin on it. Like, you don't have to go crazy, but you do need to start thinking slightly outside the box, because otherwise you just would blend in. Like,
Mm,
there has to be a reason for someone to stop the scroll. And if it's just a list of here's the latest tax rules or whatever, it's not that appealing. So
yeah.
is there a way that you can, like, with a funny selfie that goes along with it, or and you may think like, oh, that stops me from sort of looking professional. But I would argue, like, if you want to be all professional and that's fine. Like, stay in that lane, do that. I'm sure you do fine. But if you want to stand out and have a bit of creativity, have a bit about yourself, have a more of a connection with the audience, and have these sort of like inside jokes and stuff, and I think it breaks down the real person behind the business. And I
Mm.
think because of AI and things like that, people are really craving real connection with people. And it's kind of like the old days, like you would just like recommend work through your mates and stuff like that, because you had that connection with them already. Oh, does anyone know a plumber? Yeah, sure. Like
Mhm.
my mate Dave, he's a great plumber. Um, and I think we need to get back to that, where we're starting to know the people behind the brands, and they're just being their sort of authentic self.
Yeah.
Um,
And
and
you touched on AI there, and
Mhm.
there's now, forgive me, I think, is it VO, the Google tool? I'm not sure if I've used
VO3,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. And some of the results of that are incredible, and it's
Mhm.
almost boundless. It's almost, whatever you can imagine and just think and type, suddenly you're gonna get this amazing video. I've not used it, so I don't know how difficult or easy it is. What do you think about that? Like, because 'cause you're somebody who cuts it, you're like an
Mhm.
artisan. You use your hands, and you're there and you're building it. You're not relying on some AI tool. What's your view on those AI videos? Are they valid? If I were to go and do one tomorrow, am I as clever as you? Am I different? Yeah, what's your view?
Mhm. I think it all depends on sort of the level that you're at. In terms of like AI tools, I think are great for people at the lower level, don't have sort of the money to put into uh, getting an editor, or getting a sort of a team behind them for these sort of quick wins. But I think with AI, you can always sort of tell, like, we're still not there where it's like incredible. There'll be odd fingers missing and stuff
Mhm.
if you really sort of look into it. And I don't think it should ever be used to sort of replace you, or um, like the whole of the video. I think it's good for maybe sort of like B-roll, where you would just add a video about a point that you want to talk about, rather than having to like scroll through all the stock footage and go out and film yourself. To be able to actually create stock footage based on what you're talking about, I think could be really powerful. Um, but I think we can't rely fully on it. Like, I've messed around with a couple of different AI tools, and I just feel it it doesn't get the true like feeling and what the person creating the content wants to get across. I saw a good video of I think it's Goodwill Hunting. I've never actually
Mhm.
watched the scene, but it was this. I can't even remember who's in it. Is it Matt Damon and
Yeah,
Robin
Matt Damon
Williams?
and Robin Williams, yeah.
So they're having this conversation, and the director's obviously shot it how he's directed, and someone got AI to edit it, and they just trim it all down, get rid of all the silences and all that sort of stuff, and just put together this video. And it completely loses the whole emotion, and like allowing stuff that room to breathe, and um, that sort of realness in the moment. It's all lost
Mm,
because the AI is just doing it to a certain, like, just cut all the silences out, whereas it's not actually the director's vision of how they want the scene to go. So I think it's great if you're on that sort of lower end, you want to bring in some stuff into your video. Like, there's some good sort of podcasting ones that can chop it up and chuck out clips and sort of make it a little bit quicker. But I don't think you necessarily get the full artistry of people trying to sort of craft the story
mm.
how they want to. I think it
Yeah, I
misses
mean,
some of that magic.
I'm learning this as I do this, and we're on a thing now called Riverside, right? And that's what
Hmm.
people use, and it's got AI tools, and I've tried them, and it will go through and get rid of all of the ums and the gaps and whatever, and you you roll it back and you go, nah, something's missing. The odd bloop, the odd awkward gap. helps. And I think what I'm hearing is, like you and I have met over the last few weeks.
Hmm.
And what strikes me is your authenticity and your personality, and that shines through your material. But I think you're also saying that the AI stuff just is devoid of that. Like there is no personality, there is nothing. It's just literally bits and bytes. Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying?
If you see a lot of there was when VO3 first came out, everyone was like, "Oh, look how
Mm.
amazing it is!" With they were doing like interviews like on a street. It was a lot of like
Yep,
people,
seen them. Yeah,
yeah, walking up to someone with a microphone, like asking them a question,
yeah.
and it's it's really good. It's really really good. It just doesn't have that sort of polish that what you get in the real world gets you, and like a real crafted
Mm,
like, because you can do multiple takes and stuff obviously in real life. To go back and do AI, you have to change all the prompts, and then maybe it changes that thing. It
mm.
doesn't look necessarily how you want. Um,
The
but
Bigfoot ones are great. Have you seen the Bigfoot ones?
they are my favorite. Like,
They are.
if anything's come out of AI that's like worth it for me, it's that
Yeah,
the
yeah.
AI Bigfoot ones where he's like vlogging. I think like that's amazing.
Yeah,
Um,
but like we said several times, you don't rely on that, right?
mhm,
You're very raw. I said at the top, it's a bit imperfect in
mm,
places.
very.
I've seen some where you get your kids involved, and it's like a real view into Jack's world, and it's brilliant. What's what's changed for you since, because you said you started out in January and you've
Mhm,
now had some time. Um, this morning you put a post up to say that you were going to be recording this podcast today, and I kind of liked it or made a comment, and therefore I saw all of the likes and all of the comments. And you've clearly got a following, right? I was surprised how much activity that generated. You've clearly got. When we were talking before this, you said it's almost like a bit of a fan club, and you're a bit embarrassed about that, but it seems to be like a bit of a fan club. What's changed for you? I mean, you clearly wanted to do this to build a presence. And clearly, that needs to lead to business. Has it been successful for you?
So I think for me at the start, because felt like I was really behind, I felt like I needed to catch up. Like there's people on there with tens of thousands of followers that have been on for absolute years. I think when I started in January, I was on around sort of 200 followers. And I'm now up to 1,700 something in a few months. And it's just been through sort of posting sort of consistently and sort of finding my sort of like tribe of people that really want to see me win, and I do the same for them. I'll see all the content they're putting out, and I'm really sort of pushing for them to do good things. And it wasn't until I sort of found that I really started enjoying LinkedIn, because
Yeah,
before then I just felt like I was absolutely shouting into the void. No one would see my stuff. Um, but now I've had people tell me they actively go and look for my post because they know it's going to be something random, or it'll be the first post they see in the morning. It's like the most random
yeah,
picture or video or whatever. But in terms of business and stuff, it has brought in a few leads. Like my first video was shocking.
right. Like
ex-
my first podcasts, like we, I think you taught me the phrase "practice in public." I think it was you, but like it's true. You have to kind of practice in public, don't you?
Mhm.
You can't get perfect and then be ready somehow.
No, and I think especially when it comes to video, is because we see so much video and it's so polished and everyone's doing amazing, and they've got all these incredible cameras and all that. We
Mm.
feel like we need to be that level, and especially where I watch a lot of YouTube, I sort of had this paralysis for a long time where I was like, "Oh, I don't have all the camera equipment
I
like
need
they've
20
got,"
grand
and
before I can even get
yeah,
going. Yeah.
exactly. But you don't. You literally need your phone.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
your phone's
I'm on my iPhone right here, right now. And all of the little bit of research I did said, get an iPhone, just use
yeah.
the iPhone as a camera and you're away.
Yeah, like it's such a powerful phone. You can shoot in 4K and everything if you want to do all that. It's so versatile because you've always got it in your pocket. So if
Yep.
an idea comes to your head, you can sort of just start filming.
Mm.
But just being able to just be versatile with it, and just not overthink it. And your first videos are going to be crap, and
Yeah.
probably no one's going to watch them, and that's a good thing because they are crap.
Yeah.
So the more that people don't watch it, the more time you're getting into practice. And I'd even suggest, if you don't feel comfortable necessarily posting, start filming some videos.
Right.
And if you want to delete them, delete them. I would suggest not to, because it's quite good to look back on at your progress and stuff. But I can see a stark difference from my first video in January to where I am now. The confidence is
Yeah.
completely different. Like, and I'm still not super confident. I'm still working and finding my feet with it all. But the difference is like night and day. But it's because the
I know what you
repetition and
mean.
doing it.
I found my first few recordings very difficult to edit. I actually put it off. I was like, oh, I've got to go and edit that because I didn't like seeing myself. I saw all of my mistakes. I saw all of the bad stuff, and it was really hard to go back and edit them. Now when I do one, like when we've done this, I'll probably edit this tomorrow. I'll be like really keen to get in there and do it. And it is that learning curve you talk about. It's that kind of almost getting to a point of comfort where you,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can only speak for myself, but I think you're saying the same thing. It's almost like, fuck it, go do it. Like, just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Put it out there, and
Like,
no,
nothing. No, what's the worst that's going to happen? Like, and I think we sort of alluded to at the top of the episode about, because it's like a professional platform, like how people would
yeah.
sort of perceive it, and you've got your old people that you used to work with and old bosses and all that sort of stuff on there. What you've
What are
got
they
to
going to think? What are they going to
yeah.
think of me? Yeah.
But who cares? Like,
Yeah.
I learned from a very young age to sort of not give a shit. I was
You're right.
very, very self-deprecating and stuff at school, because if I was I was a bit larger at school, still am large now, but I did slim down in the middle there somewhere. But I would make jokes about me being larger and being ginger and all this sort of stuff, because then no one had any ammo against me. So
Right.
it was
Yeah.
sort of my shield.
You
So I
disarm them.
think,
Yeah.
so I think with a lot of my content, it's very self-deprecating. Like, I know it's not perfect and polished and clean, and that's sort of like my shield that I can hide behind. But at the end of the day, you've got to do what you've got to do for your
Yeah.
business. And
Yeah.
if it means going out and having a Pikachu plushie or whatever behind you, or as something as a microphone holder, do it,
Yeah.
because you've got to do what's going to make you money at the end of the day. Like, that's what
Yeah.
we're all in it
Yeah.
for,
Yeah.
is getting out there, getting seen, stopping the scroll, getting leads and whatever, and making money. That's the end goal of it.
So it strikes me that maybe people would listen or watch this and maybe don't know your work. So this is a bit unplanned, but maybe if you're happy at this point, we can later on grab one of your videos and drop it in.
Yeah.
And the one that I really liked, and I get what you're saying about self-deprecating, and that comes through, right? You don't have this sense of arrogance, which yeah, a lot of people, when they put stuff on, it's like, their posture, and it's like, look at me, I'm amazing. But you're kind of not like that. You're the opposite. But the content's great. The one that I saw the other day was about effectively, just don't hold back, just post, just fucking do it. And I'd really like to put that into the middle of this episode if you're happy.
Yeah,
Cool.
of course.
So
now, I don't really drink a lot of alcohol, but last Friday I spent £35 on a sake cup. Why? One word: storytelling. Is it one word? 2 words? Hyphenated? Anyway, I went to something called HyperCon in London Olympia, and it's basically just a bit like Comic Con, but just all things Japanese. Anything you can think of: snacks, tableware, clothes, plushes, it has the lot. And as we're walking around, there's a lot of tables where you can try different sakes and plum wine. And not normally being a drinker, I thought I'd try them. They're just sort of little samples, and I really quite enjoyed them. They're quite sweet, a lot different to sort of beers and wines. And then we came across a stall where a guy was selling traditional handmade stuff from Japan. And I was looking around his stall, and there was just this one cup that really sort of stood out to me. And it's nothing special, I'll show you at the end, but it just really stood out to me for some reason. I picked it up, felt it. I really liked how it felt and how it looked. And then sort of checked the price. I was like, £35, that's quite a lot, especially when I don't really drink. So the guy behind the stall starts telling us about sake and how it's meant to be a drink that's shared and you don't pour your own drink, like someone pours it for you. And he also then went on to say about the sake cups. And a lot of stalls were selling the same sake cups, like a set of cups. And he said the thing behind it is normally the cups are more personal to you. So how you are as a person, you should have sort of your own individual cup. So that sort of stuck with me. And I'd obviously put it back down. I was like, £35, a bit too expensive for me for a cup, especially when I don't really drink. And then we were looking around other stalls, and different people were selling different sake cups, but some of them were sort of like mass produced, or they'd handmade them themselves, but it wasn't like traditional Japanese and stuff. And the other cups that the people had were a lot cheaper. But there was just this niggling feeling in my head of I didn't want those style ones. Like I'd seen the one that I really wanted, but I just sort of brushed it off. Towards the end, we were sort of thinking about going, and my wife said to me, I really want you to go and get that cup. She'd got me tickets to go to this as a Father's Day present, and she said, I really want you to get this cup. I think that's the one you really want, and none of the others are sort of really speaking to you. So in the end, we went back to the stall to go and check it out, and lo and behold, my cup was still there. It was hours past since we'd first been there. It was like right towards the front, so anyone could have taken it at any point. When I bought the cup, he gave me a little card to show me where in Japan it had been made and who had made it, like who the designer was. So I just wanted to do this quick video about the power of storytelling, because had he not told us that story of you having this sort of connection with the cup and it being personal to you, I never would have bought it. I would have just probably carried on and looked at others, and maybe I would have got a cup, maybe I wouldn't. But it was only through him telling us the story of it and the history behind it and what it all means that I then felt this connection to an inanimate object that I then wanted. So I think storytelling is just a great way to get people invested into you and your product. It could work with whatever service or product that you're trying to sell. Try and find the stories behind it, trying to find ways that you can connect with people. So I guess I should do a sake cup reveal. So here is the sake cup that cost me £35. So I got this card with it, and it says Naganuma-san is the maker of it, and he layers rough clay over slightly smoothed glaze. He favours a rougher and looser asymmetric style where lopsided and imperfect is valued over the polished and perfect. I think that's maybe why it spoke to me, because a lot of the stuff I do isn't perfect. So, yeah. And this one was my wife's one. So it's a little bit smaller, a lot daintier, a lot smaller sort of detail. And inside it's got this really sort of cool green, glassy, crystallized sort of effect in the bottom. So, yeah, don't underestimate the power of storytelling.
So that's one of the pieces of content of yours that I saw, which, I love the style. I love the way you come across, but more than that, I love the messaging, because what you say is exactly right. Now, the whole thing about Build Your Edge is that we like to take people on a journey and say, look, here's something that you could do better. And that's why someone like you, Jack, is on. So now I'd like to try and help people who are listening or watching, who maybe are in their safety cage and don't feel talented enough, don't feel beautiful enough, don't feel confident enough, don't feel creative enough, or whatever. There's a whole bunch of barriers in front of them. But equally, they think to themselves, wouldn't it be good if I could just get out there, maybe even just with a photograph at first, but then maybe move into some simple video. And I'd like you to walk us through that journey for people to follow. And as we know, every guest leaves behind a downloadable asset.
Mm-hmm.
So people who are listening to this can download it later on and they can follow through in more detail. But what would be your first step? What would you encourage people to do first of all?
So I would say sort of you need to try and change the mindset. Like it's very hard if it's something that's ingrained that that's not going to be good enough or whatever. But you just have to do it. Like, you just have to post, like, you just have to break that seal and just be like, look, I'm just going to do it. And
Yeah.
I decided in January, I'm going to post every day except for Sundays and just do it. And there's times when it's really hard. And there was times in the sort of like 5-month mark where I was like, oh, I don't know if I can keep doing this. And that's the point where people stop. So
Right.
don't stop, just keep going, just give it a try. Like, if you're not posting at least once a week, there's not a lot of point you being on LinkedIn, I don't think. Like, you
Right.
need
Right.
to, like, that would be the absolute minimum. If you can do 3, better. If you can do 1 every day, I'd say perfect. Like, the more that you can put out, the better it's going to be for you. But you really need to change the mindset of, I just do it. And that's kind of the point of why I post some of the stuff that I post. Pictures of chicken, pictures of
Mm-hmm.
a deodorant can on my head, weird
Mm-hmm.
angles and stuff, because people overthink, like, I haven't got my makeup on, or
Mm-hmm.
haven't got this, haven't got that. My house doesn't look amazing, all that. Like, my house is an absolute mess, and I'm a bit of a mess, and I just lean into it. And through doing that, I hope that it gives people the confidence to be like, oh, if he can post that picture of him
Mm.
looking stupid, or this horrific angle from like underneath my beard, looking up my nose and everything, I can just post a simple selfie. And
Right.
I think
And do you ever look at your material the day after and go, why did I do that? That looks awful and I'm embarrassed.
at this point, no, I just, I'm like, I did it, and it's done. It's out there. Let's move on. Let's find the next one. I think you probably could, like, fall into that, but I don't think it's a good mindset to get into. Like, and I think what's pretty good with LinkedIn is a lot of the content seems to have a short shelf life. It
Right.
seems to be around for a week or two, or if the algorithm's messing up, it'll show you stuff from 3 weeks ago. But normally it sort of has a window of a week to 2 weeks, and then it's sort of gone, and people will
Right.
forget about it unless they go back through your feed. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. And I think the hardest thing is starting and not getting any traction,
Yeah.
because you're like, well, what's the fucking point?
Right.
But it's at that point that people will stop, and it's at that point why they don't go any further and they don't get any traction is because they haven't thought through the shit bits. They
Right.
think that it's going to instantly come. You're instantly going to start getting loads of likes and comments and all that sort of stuff. But it's something that you've got to build over time, and start building up your followers. And so I try and do a mixture of content. Like, I'll be honest, I'm not great at selling my services per se.
Right.
I to me, it feels a bit wanky. Like, I need to get over that, because obviously that's the whole point of being on LinkedIn. I find the broader stuff a lot easier to do, to appeal to more people, to try and get more people to know who I am.
Right.
Um,
Right.
like I,
And you mentioned traction a few times, and like
mhm.
you said a few times, 5 months, I'm not getting any traction. I think I'll give it in, but actually keep going. Do you track metrics? Are you worried about it to that level, or is it just kind of a gut feel?
um, I like to have a look at the metrics, but so not take it on so much that it's like, oh, that post only got 100 impressions today.
What went wrong with it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I, whether people like to think it or not, I think a lot of luck's involved.
Hmm.
Like, it, you could post the same thing on the next day and maybe it would take off. And it's just maybe that day there was a lot going on, or the weather
Mm.
was hot and people weren't on LinkedIn so much. Like, there's so many different factors. Like, you can try and make your content as optimized as you can with the best hooks and
Mm.
images and all that sort of stuff. And sometimes it just doesn't work. And that's
Maybe
okay.
you can briefly tell us a story about the bad chicken.
The bad chicken. So that was one. I was like, to be honest, a lot of the content I put out, like, I'm not organized at all. I'd love to be one of these organized people that has their month of content all planned out. Like if you're one of these people, like you'll absolutely smash it. I'm not organized. I'm usually 11, 12 o'clock at night. Shit, I haven't thought like what my post is tomorrow.
Hmm.
And it just so happened that I accidentally put a thing of like chicken slices in a bag and I chucked it upstairs. Like we had all the toiletries in it and I took it upstairs from getting the food delivery and the chicken had accidentally gone in it. And the smell was horrific. It was like so bad. And I just thought, like, that's my post today. Like
Right.
it's just happened. I'm just going to post it. That one got like 50 something thousand impressions. And
Wow.
it's literally a picture of a packet of rotten chicken on the side of my
Our
counter.
accountant friend is turning over in his grave right now.
Yeah. But it didn't even have me. Maybe the hook sort of helped it. It was like, how do you get the smell of rotten chicken out or whatever? But it was just literally a bit of chicken, and it got 50 something thousand
Mm.
impressions. And like to some people, they might think, oh, that's nothing. But
Hmm.
to people sort of lower down, that seems like unobtainable.
Yeah.
And it's literally something happened. I thought I'll just put a picture out and just see what happens.
So you're posting about the smell of rotten chicken, and you're getting 50, 60,000, likes, which is pretty good. I mean, I used to be able to get that with a simple post. Nowadays, it's in the hundreds. There's something in the algorithm that's changed. So you've done really well to get that. And over here, we've got some other person who is posting about, who's posting about AI strategy and how the right AI strategy can 10x your business. And maybe they're getting like 100 or 200 or 300 or maybe 1,000 views compared with your 50, 60,000 about bad chicken. Like some people might look at that and go, yeah, but actually those 100 are more valuable somehow than your 50,000. What would you say to that?
To me, it's a mix, and it all depends what you're going for. Like if you're getting the lower views, but you're getting leads and stuff off of it, great.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, I would rather that
Yeah.
personally. I would rather not have the 50,000. If I had one view and it got me one lead, that's the game we're playing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. On the other side of it, that 50 odd thousand are now more aware of who I am. And yes, it's about rotten chicken or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
I've now created different connections with people. Like a company offered to send me some like deodorizing
Oh, yeah.
spray stuff to get rid of the smell and things.
Free
So
gifts.
yeah, yeah, the perks of being a rotten chicken influencer.
Expert. Yeah.
But like building connections with people and having that connection. And someone the other day tagged me in a post. They bought the same packet of chicken, and they tagged me in a post to say, "This is like reminding me of you."
So you've gone into their brain somehow.
Yeah,
You've occupied a few of their neurons, and now you're in
yeah.
there. Yeah.
And it's like, I get the importance of sort of niching down and that sort of stuff, but I don't think you should ever forget top of funnel
Yeah.
stuff where you're just really broad and it's a broad thing and it's more shareable, and it's just about awareness, especially
Mm.
when you're really small, like when you've not got a lot of followers and stuff. You just need to be seen. You just need
Right.
to get out there and get people to know you, and the leads and everything will come when you start finding the right people and more people are seeing your stuff. But at the beginning, when you've got no one seeing your stuff and you might be putting out the best stuff ever, but if you haven't got that initial sort of first viewing, it's not going to get pushed out as much.
Yeah.
So
And even
really,
less so
really
if you
cast
don't
wide.
record it. If you just keep it in your brain and you never
Hmm.
actually do it, you're going to have zero
Yeah.
traction.
Yeah.
So
And I was
go
going to
ahead.
say, you
Sorry.
might think like, I'm not going to post that thing of chicken.
Yeah.
Like my whole thing is look at everything as content.
Right.
Like picking up the kids from school and something's happened, like that can be content. Like something's gone wrong in your work day or whatever, that can be content. Like just look at everything as content and think, how could I put my spin on it?
Mm.
How could I make it more for sort of LinkedIn? And it doesn't always have to be geared towards LinkedIn. Like I've started putting a couple of sort of like meta jokes in my post where I'm like, oh, this is the business take from it, but the whole post wasn't about that. But a lot of people tie in
Yeah.
these ideas of business to mundane things. So
But
I've been sort of joking around with that.
what about the people that go, here's a post of me in my ice bath at 4 o'clock this morning. Here's a post of me doing my yoga with my matcha tea. Here I am walking along the beach before I start my gym session. Here I am in my gym session. Here I am doing my to-do list for the day. Like people get I think, a bit fed up with that. I mean, that's
Hmm.
very self-indulgent. How do you stop your, hey, I just found some bad chicken spilling over into, here's me in my ice bath?
Uh, I don't think I could ever be one of those ice bath sort of people. And I'm just with everything that I do. I'm trying to be authentic and genuine. I'm not trying to be wanky. Look at me,
Yeah.
like I'm so amazing. Like the stuff I'm saying is working for me. It might not work for you. I think it probably could, and it should sort of start the ball rolling, and then you find your style of content.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm never going to be posting like how amazing I am. That's just not me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there is a part of LinkedIn that likes that style of stuff. Like you look at the top creators, they post absolute shite all the
Mm.
time and it
Hmm.
gets the most engagements out of anything. And I
Hmm.
see these really sort of people with barely any followers that are putting out incredible content or incredible like tips and useful information, and they're not getting the same sort of love because they
Yeah.
haven't been on here as long and they haven't got the following. But people will blindly follow these people at the top. Stephen Bartlett can put out a picture of a pencil or whatever and
Yeah.
hundreds and whatever likes
Yeah.
because people just follow it like a sheep. But
Yeah.
I think people want that more authentic connection and feel like you actually are getting to know a person. Especially nowadays with where money's so tight and important. Am I going to want to hand over to my money to someone that I don't necessarily know if they're going to be able to do what they say they're going to do? Like
Yeah.
I'd rather know them on a more personal level and get to know their work through that way rather than sort of blindly jumping in and being like, oh, I'll just go with this guy.
So I'm hearing three things so far. Number one is just start. Like, don't
Hmm.
worry about perfection. Don't worry about traction. Don't worry about anything. Just start doing it. The second thing I heard is consider everything to be content. So almost anything could be something which you could put an angle on and put out and post. And
Hmm.
the third thing I'm hearing is be authentic to yourself, really, like be who you are. And we can take the mickey out of people who say, look at me in my ice bath, but that is them, right? And that is how they
Yeah.
live their life. And to a degree, they're being authentic.
Yeah.
As
And
you
it, and
say,
it,
some
it
people like it, some
some
don't.
people like that aspirational side of it. Like, oh, I can reach that level if I follow and do what they do, and I want to get to that level. That's fine. But a lot of us are in the trenches, and it's good
Yeah.
to have people that you're working alongside of, and oh, they've had a shit day today. I've also had a shit day today. Like, we're in this together. Like,
Yeah.
business is hard, and
So sort of
especially
relatable, I guess, then
yeah.
is the fourth thing on there.
Hmm. Yeah, and in the PDF that I'm making, I've sort of broken down a couple of sections of sort of starting strong. So the first initial seconds or your first hook of a post needs to be really strong. Like I had a post, my biggest post was I think 130 something thousand
Wow.
impressions, and it was something about can we stop the fucking scaremongering of AI at the moment,
Right.
because
Right.
it was when the Stephen Bartlett episode came out and everything was doom and gloom and no one's going to have any jobs and we're going to be taken over by robots and all this sort of stuff. And had I not put fucking in the title,
Yeah.
I don't think it wouldn't have done as well. It's that bold, punchy, like, whoa, okay,
Hmm.
thing that sort of grabs the attention, that sort of got the ball rolling, and that one like did massive compared to the followers I had at the time and stuff. So that was like really key. But it's that starting strong. So in a video, don't just, a lot of people will do simple videos like this. They'll just talk to camera, have the camera go in, here's blah blah blah. There's
Randall.
so like even like simple things of just walking into camera or something, it just adds that bit of movement, that little bit of something that's people, it's obviously wired in our brain to track movement and stuff. So if something's moving, you're instantly drawn to it. And just
When you say moved, are you talking about this? Are you talking about that? Or are you talking about getting up and walking around?
just walk into frame or grab a cup of tea or something. It's like, it doesn't have to be crazy. Like, yes, you can go and do these crazy edits where you're cloning yourself and do like explosions and whatever's going off and all this quick movement. It can just be something as simple as walking into camera before you start your talking head video, because people are instantly like, oh, what's going on here, rather
Yeah.
than you're instantly in the video. The sort of second part of it would be look different.
Okay.
Don't feel afraid to stand out and try something new. And like, my big thing is, in a lot of my videos, I'll grab like a plushie like this or something, and I'll attach my mic to it, because it's instantly just something random, and people will start, like in the comments, will make comments about that the using the plushie as the microphone, and I try and use a different one in each video, and it's sort of become my thing. So it's like, well, what's the next one that he's gonna sort of use? And obviously it's not necessarily going to work for everyone. Like if you're in finance or whatever, it's so different. There's nothing wrong with using a Pikachu. Like, it's a
I was going to say,
relatable
why
thing.
not? Why? I mean,
Yeah,
if we come back to our accountant friend, why wouldn't they do something like that? Why wouldn't they
yeah.
just have a little prop?
I would say just do it, because what have you really got to lose? Maybe your mates might take the piss out of you for a little bit, but if it gets you more clients, who cares at the end of the
Who's
day?
laughing? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's all about grabbing that attention. Like, we're all vying for attention on LinkedIn, and you're trying to stop the scroll and trying to get people to pay attention to you and invest in what you're trying to say. So if it means I need to hold up a Pikachu plushie, then I'm going to do it. And does it really matter? Like, maybe during the video you could change the colors of your tie, like every time you say a different point, like just different bits of visual interest. If you was a plumber, for example, maybe you'd have a rubber duck in every
Mm-hmm.
post. You just
Mm-hmm.
place a rubber duck somewhere, like you take selfies as a rubber duck somewhere, and it's just a constant thing, and it becomes your thing that people know you for. But it's just literally about getting that attention and sort of trying to build a movement and community around it where people will comment on it. I know a
So
lot of people do different things, colors and all that sort of
yeah,
stuff.
we often malign influencers because influencers do pretty much anything to get that attention, and they do extreme stuff. Yeah,
Mhm.
sometimes very extreme stuff. And I don't think that you're advocating for that, are you? You're not like saying get rid of your self-respect and just do anything it takes to get the attention. You're just saying have something a bit different, something which steps out of, you taught me about the beige of LinkedIn, which I think is a great expression. So you're saying add a bit of color to the beige.
Yeah, and like, you can go as mad as you feel comfortable. I'm not saying go out and be completely crazy, um like going full YouTube, TikTok, whatever. Like, I'm not saying that. It's just little things of like colors, props, things that will just grab that sort of attention and create that conversation. Like, a lot I've found with a lot of people's posts, they're always like trying to sell, and they're always doing the same
Right.
thing. And we know we're all trying to sell on LinkedIn. Like,
Yep.
we're all here to sell. That's what we know that. And if you just keep posting about, I'm doing this, I'm selling this, I'm selling this, selling this, people just drone out to it because
Hmm.
they've heard it multiple times. They're not interested. But what they will be interested in is if you start talking about things that they can relate to, and then you start building up a connection, and then they're like, oh, hang on, like
Hmm.
maybe I do need that person's service, and they'll be more attuned to what you're putting out. But I think people get a bit blinded of just putting out the same message and trying to sell. There's nothing wrong with like, I've had a crap morning today, like car broke down, all that sort of stuff, because it just makes you relatable, and
Yeah.
like, and people want that connection.
And how do you I'm trying to think of the best way to word this, but how do you avoid the point where people stop taking you seriously? Like, as in, I think I could trust this person to do this job that I need them to do because you're doing things which are kind of not serious.
So I think mine's obviously slightly different. Like I can be a bit more creative, and that sort of goes with the territory, and especially with the people that I'm trying to attract. Like the content I'm putting out deters just as much as I'm trying to attract, because I know my style of video and the way I work isn't going to work with these finance bros, whatever. Like the
You might be surprised, of course, but yeah, I know what you mean. I
yeah,
mean,
no,
that's one thing you said to me as we were preparing for this. You said that your material is designed to repel some people
yeah,
as much as it is designed to attract some people.
yeah. Like if you're looking for super professional, whatever, you're not going to find it here. I'm going to
Hmm.
do
Hmm.
the best job that I can for you. That's just the way I've been brought up. Like always try and do my best and over deliver and that. And I'm going to try and be as creative as whatever as I can. But I just know that the sort of super professional stuff I don't really like doing, and you're not gonna we're not gonna work well if
Yeah,
you're looking for a level of professionalism and you can't have a laugh and like will swear on the call or whatever. Like I've just got to be me at the end of the day. Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't pretend to
So
be
you don't
someone
think
I'm
you're ever
not.
going to record compliance training videos then for
No.
banks? No.
No,
Okay.
unless you wanted to go with some crazy idea afterwards or something, but no, definitely
Yeah.
not.
Okay. And what else? What else should people do? So we've been through quite a lot of stuff about just start. Everything is content. Be authentic. Be relatable. Do something a bit different. And I like the idea of this, like your plumber example, where you've always got a duck in the background or something which makes you a bit distinctive.
Hmm.
What else?
Um, I think the main thing for me is to just be authentic and real.
Right.
I think like a lot of people see through all the bullshit now that like I made six figures doing blah
Hmm.
blah. They never tell you how much they actually made, like how long it took them to get there. Like there's so many sort of variables, and I don't know. We just relate to more people that don't seem perfect. That there's just this realness about them. That yes, I messed up this, but I can help you. I can help you make cool videos and come up with some cool
Yeah.
ideas. But yeah, I've made mistakes and it's messy, and I'm still new in my business. I'm still learning it as I go. I'm
Mm.
still haven't set up websites and emails and that sort of stuff. But it doesn't matter. Like if
Yeah, your
you
email addresses are very weird. We've talked about that, haven't we? Yeah, I think you made them when you were about 11 or
yeah,
something. Yeah.
yeah, they haven't changed. So
Yeah.
I need to set up business emails and stuff, but I've just been going out there and just sort of building the plane as I'm flying it essentially,
Mm,
and it hasn't held me back from anything.
mm,
Maybe it looks slightly unprofessional to some people, but again, if you can't see past that, I don't necessarily want to be working
mm.
with you. Like
Yeah.
I just want to find people that are it's like a feeling and a vibe. Like I've had a few lead calls where instantly I knew something was off, and I knew it wasn't
Mhm,
going to work out, and I knew they
mhm.
weren't going to be a client, and I could tell from the get go. And yeah, it's like it's just a feeling of like and I don't think I'm very good at sort of selling my service, but I sell myself better. Like I've started going to networking and things. When
Yeah.
they ask what do you do, I'm like, I do
Yeah.
video. Like
But
I haven't
your
got my
work
pitch
sells
down,
for
but
you, doesn't it? Because I mean, the whole reason we're talking is because I saw your stuff and went,
mhm.
that's cool. That's amazing. That's sharp. I like the person that I'm seeing. And in a sense, you don't almost need to sell your work, do you? Because your work sells itself.
That's where I'm hoping it's gonna work for me, where I don't need to be banging down the door every time of, look, I can do your videos, I can help you edit your podcast, I can do this, I can do that. I don't want to have to keep doing that. I just want to show what I can do and teach people along the way. Like I do a lot of tips and stuff on my LinkedIn of, here's like a video intro you could steal or whatever.
Mm,
I'm sort of trying to help people with different uh, using different editing tools and things like that. I'm all for helping people and just demystifying it. And I want people to just make more interesting stuff. I want to be able to scroll LinkedIn and be able to stop on each post because it's so engaging and I've got something from it. But there's still a lot that I'll just keep scrolling through because it's just boring. But
mm.
yeah, I think it's just keep 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 going at it. Keep like find your community. Like everything will be telling you to stop and to give up, and you've
Hmm.
just got to keep fighting through and keep breaking
Like
through.
running a
And
marathon almost.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Not that I know anything about
no, yeah, okay.
that, but
So, but also, so we've touched on this a bit already. You know that your videos are almost deliberately trying to repel as much as you are trying to attract. So I'm wondering when you do a bit of content like your bad meat one or whatever it is that you do you have in your brain like a picture of the people you're talking to or a person even? Does that help you form that content, or do you just like go, I'm going to be Jack and I'm just going to do some stuff and let's just see how it goes?
if I'm honest, it's just me.
Right.
Like I don't think about who I'm trying to attract. Like I know people I'd want to work with more than others. Like and who I definitely don't want to work with.
Yeah.
But I think you can tell when someone isn't being authentic on LinkedIn and the content doesn't hit properly and it comes across as
Mm.
like a bit me or
Hmm.
um like that you don't know what you're talking about, or like there's so many sort of different levels to it. But I can just only be me and just
Hmm.
be
Hmm.
100% me, and if you don't like me, that's completely fine. Like a lot
Yeah.
of people might look at this episode and be like, what's this idiot with Pikachu and
Yeah.
whatever, and
Who
he's
does he
talking
think
about
he is?
rotten chicken. Yeah, like who
Yeah.
does this guy think he is? And like he hasn't got that many followers and all that sort of stuff, and that's completely fine. I'm just saying what's working for me at the moment and that has helped me with my growth is just leaning into me and being authentic and not being afraid to just post the damn thing.
It's
And
that fear, isn't it? I think as much as anything, like, the whole title of this thing is, just publish the damn thing, or I think it is, or just post the damn thing we've agreed on. And it is just that fear, isn't it? That fear factor of, I can remember, I mean, this is not about me, but it's a very relatable story. I remember I had a startup and we spent 18 months perfecting this product and the website. And I remember the day we went like live, and it took us forever to press the button live because we thought all of a sudden the whole world was going to see this thing. They're all going to come rushing into this thing. And if it's not perfect, they'll go off somewhere else because they didn't like what they see. In reality, what happens is you go publish, and then there's tumbleweed for a long time. And if you're too scared, you won't get into that tumbleweed thing. Just go out there, accept there's going to be some tumbleweed,
yeah,
keep improving, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, and eventually you're going to get that traction that you need.
yeah, and I think it's when you like, in terms of sort of video and stuff, you look at people like Mr. Beast, and
Oh yeah,
they've had the biggest show on Amazon and all this sort of stuff, and I think he's just hit 400 million subscribers or something
that's more
crazy.
than me.
Like it's a lot more than me, but he's like been doing this for so long. He's got
Yeah.
such a massive team behind him. You can't compare yourself to people like that. And if
Yeah.
you actually go back and watch his first YouTube videos, his first video is, I think he's like 16 and he's playing Minecraft, and
Yeah.
it's like laggy and it's terrible video. And you think from that kid there to 400 million subs or
Yeah.
whatever he's just hit is just insane. And I
Just
think
don't wait for perfection, isn't it?
no, and we put too much pressure on it, and it's,
Yeah.
oh, I haven't got the right equipment, I don't look right, I haven't got the right
Yeah.
setting. Like the first video I filmed was here in my bedroom on a blank white wall, super boring, and I just walked into frame and basically said who I was, and it was terrible,
Yeah.
but it got me 2 clients off the back of it,
Well,
like
there you go.
literally like that. Like I yeah, didn't even have to try, and it I very easily could have not put that video live,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't have started this whole journey that I'm on now if I hadn't had the balls to just be like, we're just doing it. And as
Yeah.
cringy and whatever as it is, just need to get it out there. Like I can't remember who, I think it's someone called Pat Flynn. He's does sort of YouTube videos. I think he's very well known in the business world. I knew him through sort of Pokemon. He does like Pokemon card
Right.
openings and things like that. But he's like a well-known business guy, and he's got a lot of books and stuff. And has this saying of, you've got to be cringe before they binge. So you've
Oh, I
got to
like
be,
that.
you've got to put out the cringe content to build up your following, and then they'll start binging all of your stuff, and you sort of create a community around it.
Nice.
And I think that's like really important, that, and especially, like I've said, no one's going to watch your first stuff. So just get out, get practicing, and just make the small improvements every time. If you don't want to do anything creative and you just want to talk to camera, start there. I'm not
Yeah.
saying like don't start there. If that's what you need to do, start there and just build on it every time. Like maybe I can do a bit of a different intro this time. Maybe I could try a bit of a sharper hook. Maybe I can add some props in and that sort of thing. And maybe I could turn this into a bit of a story and different camera angles and things. But it's just about making them small 1% adjustments every single time. But you have to start from somewhere, and you have to start putting it out there and finding
Yeah.
the people that are going to start resonating with your content, or otherwise you'll just be sat doing nothing forever
Yeah.
and wondering why
50%
you're not.
improvement on 0 is still 0. Yeah. Jack, this has been amazing. It's been such a pleasure. First of all, discovering you a little bit. I feel like Christopher Columbus discovering something that was already there, but coming across you and finding you and seeing you. And then, we got to chat, and I met the person behind the video. You're a genuinely nice person. The authenticity and the humbleness that you see on the screens is like totally you. I love your sense of humor and the heart that you put into your videos. And I encourage anybody who's watching or listening to this to just go find you and look at some of your material. Undoubtedly, some of it they'll look at and go, well, that's shit. That's exactly what we've been talking about. But there's a lot of good stuff on there that just really stands out and makes a difference. Is there anything you'd like to leave anyone who's listening to this thinking, I feel scared. This is not me. This feels so alien. And I hear all these things about Just Start and everything, these content or else, but I'm comfortable and I'm safe. What more should they do just to kind of change from the beige of LinkedIn to the Jack Ralph of LinkedIn?
I would say probably don't go full Jack Ralph. I think that's a bit dangerous sometimes, but a nice in between. I think it just comes down to mindset and like the points in the PDF of just start. Like you just have to start as much as you want to get it all perfect and all that goes with it. Just do it. Just post the damn thing. See what happens. Improve on it. And just experiment and sort of have fun.
Yeah.
If you can try and start strong, but obviously we're trying to build on the content and make it better every time. But if you can think of like a strong hook, sometimes like if it's relatable to you, if you can swear or that sort of stuff, it sort of grabs attention quite quickly. Try and look different. There's so much of the same content that's out there, and just small things like if you've got a certain brand color and in every selfie you're wearing that sort of brand color, people will start associating the color with you, and it just starts a thing where you can open up conversation about different things, but try and give people that in
Yeah.
to comment and stuff on your content. Like if you're just posting the same, here's this AI tips, whatever,
Hmm.
that's all well and good, but give them something that you can actually have a conversation with and get to know you more as a person. And that sort of builds onto the say something real. Be authentic, own your mistakes. Like people love that stuff. Like
Yeah.
I think people are getting to the point where we're getting a bit sick of the it's all perfect and I'm amazing and look at me and I
Hmm.
can make all this money and you can do the
Hmm.
same. When a lot of those have kind of lost touch with the real world, it's easy for them to post something or start a new business and get loads of money because they've already built up that following. If you're starting from day zero, you've got no following, you've got
Yeah.
nothing, you haven't got the money and team and whatever behind you, it's a slog and it can be a lonely one.
Yeah.
So get out there, be real. You'll start connecting with other people that feel the same as you, and you'll start finding this community. And like for me, it's been a big help of finding these people that have got my back
Hmm.
and want to see me win, and I'm the same for them. And these are people from Canada, from America. Like we've just jumped on coffee calls and stuff, and I would consider them friends now. And it's only through putting out this type of content that we've been able to have these connections.
Mm.
And you never know who someone knows.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they might know someone who wants video, and then they'll pass them along to me. You never know what opportunities come up, so just get out there and
Mm.
just be
And
yourself.
we started at the very beginning by mentioning that only 1% of all monthly active users on LinkedIn make any kind of post. So if someone feels super uncomfortable and doesn't want to do video, start with some words, but still follow all of your rules, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Just start.
yeah, and it doesn't matter what topics and stuff you're talking about. If you only feel comfortable doing words, do words. But I think images and stuff do help it. So
Yeah,
if you
of
can
course.
add just a simple selfie, like you don't have to
Yeah.
do the crazy stuff that I do, just so people get to see the person behind the business essentially, and
Yeah.
who you are, the real
Yeah.
person, and they're able to connect with it.
Yeah.
And I'd also say sort of anything is content, like anything that goes wrong, and like you could grab some random item around the house and make content out of it. Like that's where I did a post about the deodorant can, about it being 72 hours. Like, has anyone ever actually tested this?
Not
Like
showered for
the yeah,
72 hours.
who has tested this, not showered, and like and who's it working on? And that got quite a lot of sort of impressions and stuff, and that
Yeah.
was literally me looking around and going, oh,
Yeah.
deodorant can, like,
If
oh,
that
I can
appeals
do
to
that
any of
content.
your friends, I would say dump them as friends. Well, listen, Jack, it's been like a genuine pleasure coming across you, getting to know you, and doing this. It's been a real pleasure. I'm going to be keeping my eye on you. Like you've got another champion here.
Thank you.
I wish you all the success in the world, and please keep doing what you're doing. Please keep bringing a smile and a laugh, and you know, um, just that standout personality on LinkedIn. Thank you for
Thank
what
you.
you do, and thank you for spending the time with us here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. And I
Cool.
would just say to anyone, just keep going. As tough as it gets, you'll crack through eventually.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jack.
Cheers,
See you
mate.
next time. Bye.